Hello and Merry Christmas everybody, and welcome to this, the last dev diary of this phase of Elite Dangerous. It's absolutely fantastic. Thank you for all your support. The game is finally out and it's very, very exciting. We've had a long journey. It's been a great journey. All of those little things people have put up with have been worth it, and thank you for that. So for example, during the Gamma, we did a lot of work on our servers to make them rock solid. Some people experienced that as we stress tested them ready for release, but look, we had a wonderful release. It was smooth. Thank you everybody, and apologies for those who had to put up with it, but it worked well, and I think everyone saw that and appreciated why we did it. It's been great. It's been some lovely positive comments since release, which we're delighted about. The story is now moving forward, so we're moving into a next phase. We're seeing lots of people playing online, so I hope people have a great time playing over Christmas. So it's been a wonderful time since the Kickstarter and since we first started releasing the game. I mean, talking some of the highlights from my perspective, if you like. Obviously, the Kickstarter, getting it over the line on my birthday was wonderful. The timing couldn't have been better, so that was great, and it kicked off 2013 really well for me. But I think there were other really good highlights as well. First playing the game during development and then sharing it with people on the first alpha build, that was great. And then on the second alpha build, I remember that a really weird feeling, seeing me being killed on YouTube from someone else's perspective. And I remembered the event from, I think it was the night before, when Commander Bond shot me, and I remember having a chat with my wife about it just before I was killed. Oh, I can't kill him now because I had him in my sights. But he got round behind me and then killed me. But it was that bizarre feeling of seeing it on YouTube afterwards. Other highlights, I think, was when I first docked with a Coriolis. It's just the sort of the feeling of the vastness of it and the realization of it, and that the wonderful going from, I mean, internally went from a period of sort of concept art to having it in block out, but seeing it with all the richness of the lights, that was for me was really wonderful, and same to the Orbis as well, even bigger, even more vast. But I think the other thing that stuck in my mind is the Oculus dev kit. I'd always imagined head-mounted displays would be good, but it's actually just doing it, looking around, seeing other ships coming in and out. For me, it was that sense of wonder, and of course, as soon as we moved to the higher resolution, for me, that improved a lot, because I can actually read the displays, because we had tried to design it for the higher resolution. But then with the addition of Crystal Cove and moving to DK2, it took yet another step forward. I felt I could lean forward. I felt I was really in the cockpit. It was so immersive. And so there have been, I think, a lot of highlights. You know, looking at the galaxy for me as well. I mean, I know not everyone's cup of tea is astronomy, but actually it's amazing how that's changed through development. People were initially saying, what's the point of this? And now see that going to see things in the night sky, the richness that it really is there, and that we could, you know, you're looking at constellations back on Earth. I remember first seeing, because of course during Kickstarter and early development, the sky in the game was indeed a painted backdrop, but when we first had the proper rendered sky, which was from real game data, and it changed when you moved systems, that to me was quite magical, thinking, wow, we're possibly the first people to see these constellations, to see the night sky viewed from, from Erenin, for example, which is where we were first starting on the beta, and to think, wow, it really is like that. This is as close as we can get it, and I think it's very unlikely that in our lifetimes at least, any other person is going to see that for real. But just by comparing today's night sky with the night sky in game, you can see that the accuracy is, I think, I mean, it's for other people to say, but I think it's pretty good. I'm certainly very proud of the huge effort the team have put in to make it as good as it has, and putting up with my, let's face it, never-ending, it seems, criticism, because unfortunately, a lot of the process is, oh, we've got to make this better, and there's an implied criticism there. But there are so many sides of the game that I think we've really pushed the boundaries in the way the networking is working, and also sound. I mean, sound is very important, and in games is often forgotten. But I think Jim Croft and his team have done such a good job of essentially covering each different element and making it feel like a living spaceship. It's very, very obvious when you're listening in sort of 5.1. You hear all the clicks and whirs around you. You hear the impacts on your ship placed in space. That, to me, it embeds it further, and it sort of adds to the experience, whether or not you're with Oculus. And I think some of the other things that feed into that, some of the things that, as a developer, actually, I've seen a lot of our game on YouTube, which feels a bit bizarre. Seeing some amazing setups people have got at home with the 5-screen setups or the 3 projectors, the effort that people have done to make the game great. I actually think, wow, that would be wonderful. And playing the game on a giant screen is quite an experience, especially with really good sound. So it's been a wonderful journey, and I would like to give my thanks, huge thanks, the gratitude for all of the love that's been shown to the game through the development. All of the people who came to our launch event. I mean, for me, that was a real highlight. I mean, I was actually outside the doors, for those who've seen the video, that opened on the Cobra Mark III with the huge crowds. Of course, I'd seen it before, but it was still quite a sort of a tear-jerking moment. It was wonderful feeling. You think, wow, it's actually here. We've got to this point. And I suppose the cynic in me, always thinking, well, things are going to go wrong, they're not going to go... But they have, I think, overall gone very smoothly. And that's thanks to a lot of help from backers. A lot of the things that we changed during development have really added to the game, thinking things like Super Cruise. And we've got a really good game now. But this isn't the end. This is just the start. We're going to keep going. You've seen the start of the story. It's something I'm extremely excited about. Because this sort of storytelling in game we haven't seen, and I think that's very exciting. But also to participate in, looking at the number of players at the moment trading in Onion Head, which is a narcotic at the centre of one of our current storylines. And I'm just as excited, hopefully, as everyone else is, to see how that unfolds and how players respond. The story, which was essentially completely player created, of the Crimson State, using the emergent engine, was I think very interesting from our point of view, because we didn't intervene to make that happen in any way. So overall, I'm very pleased with where we are, and thank you very much to all of those who backed us, all of those who've given comments on our forums or directly, and I really hope you have a great Christmas and you enjoy playing the game. So thank you very much from everyone at Frontier, and from me also a very big thank you to the team who have put in such long hours and great dedication in making this game happen. So thank you and Merry Christmas.